Fidel Castro has died at the age of 90, bringing an end to an era for the country, Latin America, and the world. The revolutionary icon, one of the world's best-known and most controversial leaders, survived the countless U.S. assassination attempts and premature obituaries, but in the end proved mortal and died late on Friday night after a long battle with illness. Given the former president's age and health problems, the announcement of Castro's death had long been expected, but when it came, it was still a shock. The Comandante, a figurehead for armed struggle across the developing world, was no more. It was news that friends and foes had long dreaded and yearned for, respectively. Castro's younger brother, Raul, who assumed the presidency of Cuba in 2006 after Fidel suffered a near-fatal intestinal ailment, announced the revolutionary leader's death on television on Friday night. He said, and I quote, "With profound sadness, I am appearing to inform our people and our friends across Latin America and the world that today, 25th of November 2016, at 10:29 p.m., Fidel Castro, the commander-in-chief of the Cuban Revolution, died. In accordance with his wishes, his remains will be cremated," unquote. Raul Castro concluded his address with the famous revolutionary slogan, "Onwards to Victory." On Saturday, the Cuban government announced that Fidel Castro's ashes will be interred at the Santa Ifigenia Cemetery in Santiago de Cuba on 4th of December. The cemetery is the resting place of the 19th century Cuban independence hero Jose Marti and numerous other leading figures in the country's storied history.
Queridos amigos,
dear friends,
y con qué gusto lo digo,
and I say this with tremendous pleasure, dear friends,
de cuantas cosas nobles
all the
han sido
noble things
producto de la preocupación de la humanidad
that have concerned humanity have been mentioned here
durante un ya largo tiempo.
for some time now.
Los valores por los cuales ha combatido la humanidad
The values for which humanity has
a lo largo
fought
de este siglo
and
que
struggled
concluye
throughout this century that is coming to an end
de una forma
have been expressed
o de otra.
one way or another by you.
Las cuestiones que más han preocupado en esta larga
The
lucha
issues
por la
that have concerned us
independencia
most with respect to this long struggle for independence, against colonialism, against neo-colonialism, against imperialism, the struggle of the peoples for equality, justice, development,
por la soberanía
sovereignty,
nunca tan amenazada como hoy,
threatened today more than ever before,
la lucha por la justicia
the struggle
social,
for social justice,
la lucha contra la explotación, la lucha contra la
the struggle
pobreza,
against exploitation, the struggle against poverty, the struggle against
la lucha contra
ignorance,
las
the
enfermedades,
struggle against diseases,
la lucha en favor de todos aquellos
the struggle
desprotegidos,
in favor of all the dispossessed,
la lucha por la dignidad, por
the
la
struggle
igualdad,
for dignity, equality,
la lucha por el
the
respeto a la
struggle
mujer,
for respect
la lucha
toward
por la
women,
hermandad entre todos
the
los
struggle
hombres de
for
todas las
fraternity among men of all races,
razas, la lucha por la
the
paz,
struggle for peace.
todos esos valores y muchos
All of these values and many more
se han visto
have been
expresados aquí.
expressed here
a lo largo del encuentro.
during this meeting.
Por ello podríamos decir
And
que
for
no
that
solo fue un
reason,
encuentro
we can
de
say
solidaridad con
that it has
Cuba,
not only been a meeting of
y nos
solidarity
enorgullece
with
que haya
Cuba,
sido esa solidaridad
and we feel
el motor de la
proud for the fact that that solidarity served
Por aquí
as
han desfilado.
inspiration.
El bloqueo se convirtió en punto
The
prácticamente
blockade
central.
became the focal point of this meeting.
Sobre el bloqueo han hablado mucho.
Many have
Sobre el bloqueo
referred to the
explicaron
blockade.
los compañeros.
The comrades have
No
referred to the
había mucho que
blockade.
añadir,
Little could be added to that.
pero en esencia, ¿qué es el bloqueo?
But what is the blockade in
El
essence?
bloqueo no es solo
The blockade
la prohibición
is
por
not
parte
only
de Estados Unidos
the banning
de realizar
of
cualquier tipo de comercio con nuestro país,
holding any type of trade with our country on the part of the U.S.,
llámese
be it
tecnología,
technology, machinery,
llámese algo más, alimentos,
foodstuffs,
llámese algo más, medicina.
for instance,
El
medicines.
bloqueo significa que
The
a Cuba no
blockade
se le puede
means
vender ni siquiera una aspirina
that
para aliviar un dolor de cabeza.
Not even an aspirin can be sold to Cuba to mitigate a headache,
O
or
un anticancerígeno
an anti-cancer drug
que pueda salvar una vida
that may save a life,
o que pueda aliviar el sufrimiento
or that may
en una fase
mitigate the
final
suffering of those who are
de la vida.
in a terminal stage.
Nada,
Nothing,
absolutamente
absolutely
nada se puede vender.
nothing can be sold to Cuba.
El bloqueo no es solo
The
la
blockade
prohibición de todo crédito,
is not only prohibiting
de toda facilidad
all sorts of credits,
financiera.
financial facilities.
El bloqueo no es solo el cierre total de las
The
actividades
blockade
económicas,
is
comerciales
not
y
only a
financieras
total
por parte de
closure
Estados Unidos,
on the part of the United States
la
of
nación más rica
trade,
del mundo,
commercial, financial activities
la nación más
by the United
poderosa
States,
del
the
mundo en
richest,
términos
most
económicos
powerful
y en
nation of the world in
términos
economic
militares.
and military terms.
No solo a 90 millas de nuestras costas,
At 90 miles
sino una
away from our
pulgada de
coasts,
nuestras costas, en el
rather
territorio
at 1 inch of our coasts
de la base
in the
naval
occupied territory
de
of the
Guantánamo.
Guantanamo Naval Base.
Pero no es solo eso.
But that is not the only thing. That is not what the
El
blockade
bloqueo es una
is.
guerra
The blockade is
económica
also
contra Cuba.
an economic war against Cuba.
Guerra económica.
An economic war.
Es la persecución tenaz,
It is the tenacious harassment,
constante,
the
de toda
constant
administración, toda
harassment
gestión económica de Cuba
around the
en
entire
cualquier parte del mundo.
economic activities of Cuba anywhere in the world.
Trabaja activamente
The United States actively
a través de
works
sus canales diplomáticos,
through
a
its
través de sus
diplomatic channels,
para
its
presionar a
embassies,
cualquier país
to
que quiera
exert
comerciar
pressure
con Cuba,
on any country that wishes to trade with Cuba,
para presionar a cualquier
to exert
empresa
pressure on any
que
firm
desee comerciar
that
o
wishes
invertir
to
en Cuba,
trade or invest in
para
Cuba,
presionar y
to
castigar
exert pressure
cualquier
and
barco que
punish
transporte
any
mercancías a Cuba.
ship that transports goods to Cuba.
Es la guerra universal
It is a universal war with that immense power to their favor against
de nuestro país,
the economy of our
al
country,
extremo de realizar
to the extent
gestiones individuales
of doing individual arrangements, even with people, with individuals
que intentan
who
desarrollar
who try to carry out some sort
con nuestro
of economic activity with our country.
Ellos le llaman eufemísticamente.
They euphemistically call it embargo.
Nosotros le llamamos bloqueo.
We call it blockade.
Y no es embargo ni bloqueo.
And it is neither an embargo or a blockade. It is a war.
Guerra que hoy no se realiza
war
contra ningún país en el
That
mundo,
now is not being waged against any country in the world, but exclusively
contra Cuba.
against Cuba.
Pero nosotros no solo hemos tenido que soportar en estos años de
But during
revolución
these
el
years of
bloqueo,
revolution, we have not only had to bear with the blockade, we have had to bear
la hostilidad incesante
the unceasing hostility
desde los
in the
intentos de
political
liquidación
field,
de los dirigentes de la revolución,
from attempts to assassinate leaders of the revolution,
y pasando por toda forma de
going through
subversión,
all forms of
desestabilización,
subversion,
hasta el
destabilization,
sabotaje directo y perenne
and even
de
direct,
nuestra economía,
constant sabotage